Hi, I'm James Knight, and it was a very great honour to be invited to record this short video for the Stephen Spender Trust. I'm going to read an excerpt from a book of prose poetry by Fernando Arrabal, originally written in French, La Pierre de la Folie, and then I'm going to talk a bit about the poem, particularly with regard to its musicality, which I think is quite extraordinary. I should mention that I'm not a French speaker. I taught myself French as an adult so that I could read authors like this and Alain Robbe-Grillet and surrealists and the rest of it. So my pronunciation may be less than perfect, and if that's the case, apologies. Anyway, I should also just say that this particular prose poem, it comes from very early in the sequence, and there are a number of motifs and indeed words and phrases that are repeated later on in the sequence. So although I'm treating it as a self-contained piece, it's very much part of a larger structure. Okay, so here we go. So this is one of the prose poems from La Pierre de la Folie. Mon enfant, mon enfant. Enfin, elle alluma une lampe minuscule, et je pus voir son visage, mais non son corps plongé dans l'obscurité. Je lui dis, maman. Elle me demanda de la prendre dans mes bras. Je la pris dans mes bras, et je sentis ses ongles s'enfoncer dans mes épaules. Bientôt, le sang jaillit, humide. Elle me dit, mon enfant, embrasse-moi. Je m'approchai et l'embrassai, et je sentis ses dents s'enfoncer dans mon cou, et le sang coulait. Alors, je m'aperçus qu'elle portait, pendue à sa ceinture, une petite cage avec un moineau à l'intérieur. Il était blessé, mais il chantait. Son sang était mon sang. So this poem is a sort of horrible Freudian nightmare in which the mother feasts vampire-like on the son, who she's enticed towards her with the words "mon enfant," and that's one thing to mention is the way it begins in media res. It begins in the middle of the action with that dialogue from the mother, "mon enfant, mon enfant," and there's a kind of weird lugubrious music to that repetition, and it comes back later on when she speaks again, mon enfant, embrasse-moi, and it's the mon enfant. You know, it's those vowel sounds. There's something incredibly sort of mournful about them, which adds to the sinister quality, I think, of the poem. And although it is a prose poem, I think that Arrabal focuses a lot on word sounds and the combinations of word sounds to create this lugubrious music. So if you listen to things like Je peux voir son visage, je peux voir son visage, voir visage, and those words kind of get the jaw working, voir visage, and it's almost like the action of eating, which of course is what his mum does to him when she sinks her teeth into him later. So there's an incredible kind of sensuality about some of this language as well. And I think also there's a lot of interesting assonance and units of sound that are repeated in various ways. A really nice example is as the mother, as the narrator feels the mother's teeth, in his neck. He says, et je sentis ses dents s'enfoncer dans mon cou et le sang coulait. So the teeth dans mon cou, in his neck, et le sang coulait, and the blood runs. Cou coulé, neck. You know, it's just so right, isn't it? The word sounds certainly help create that sense of the flow of the blood. And then right towards the end of the piece, you get this peculiar image of the little cage with the little bird inside. And we have this final sentence. Il était blessé, mais il chantait. Son sang était mon sang. So you've got this kind of blessé, chantait. Son sang était mon sang. And son sang, mon sang, you know, they're bound together with the sounds. And so actually the identification of the assaulted child, the boy that he is in this dream narrative with the little bird is kind of cemented. I just find it an extraordinarily understated poem. When you first read it, there's almost nothing to it beyond the kind of stark, rather deadpan nightmarishness of it. But once you start listening to this horrible music in the language, which at times is almost kind of lip smacking and almost sort of revels in the horror, it's when you listen to that I think the full force of the poem really comes across. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed hearing those thoughts. Thank you for listening.